I also have to speak out about the Sobell ice rink. I'll start by saying that our starting point for this issue was one of sympathy. We understand the council faces huge financial hurdles, that energy is hugely expensive. But the more that we've dug into it, it's clear to us that the case for scrapping the ice rink and replacing it with a money-making soft play centre doesn't stack up. The ice rink is a multi-generational sports offer. There is excellent work there, getting young people out of youth violence and into skating. The ice rink does really well getting girls active. Soft play promises none of those things. Here at the executive meeting, I expressed disappointment at the one-sided consultation that you put out. You promised you were still open to new ideas. Campaigners' freedom of information requests show how shallow those promises were. Islington Labour emails show, and I quote, that you were only interested in making it look like you were listening. That early as January, GLL had presented ideas for the ice rink closure. That for months, you had backbench councillors promise the ice rink was coming, when the Cabinet knew that was increasingly unlikely. And to those backbench councillors, I make a plea. It's clear to me that these proposals haven't been thought through thoroughly, that options like greening the rink and third-party providers haven't been explored adequately. We only need 2 more councillors to join us in calling this decision in, to make sure that the decision is made on a sound basis with all the needed thought put into saving the rink. I'd urge you to be brave and join us in making sure this decision is fully considered. It only takes 2 councillors to join us. Let's move.
So, can I start with the first petition, which relates to the Sobell ice rink, and understand it's been presented by Maggie. Is Maggie here? Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you for coming to speak to this petition. You have 2 minutes. So, and I'm timing it. The timer is at the front. So, thank you.
Let me ask you, how many Olympic medals have been won in soft play? With only 4 ice rinks across London, there is a very high demand for ice time within the ice skating and hockey community. We are confident that with proper management, the Sobell ice rink could be run profitably in such a densely populated area. The decision to not reinstate the ice rink would have a detrimental impact on future generations, as they would not be able to access the same sporting opportunities that we have been so grateful to have. With the majority of the Sobell ice rink users being female, to lose the ice rink would have a very harmful impact on a young woman such as myself. It is a fact that 55% of women do not continue sport beyond the age of 12, which is why it is vital to provide us with as many non-intimidating sporting activities like the Sobell ice rink in such a diverse community. A ninja park is not a sport, merely a leisure activity. It is vital that we provide a sporting activity that can be carried on throughout teenage and adult years, unlike the proposed plan of a ninja park, which only provides for a limited age range and usage, maybe once a month. Furthermore, the environmental issue raised of the carbon footprint of the old ice rink being 125 tonnes per annum. To put this into perspective, this only equates to a one-way flight from the UK to Rome. It may sound as if we are against the idea of a ninja park. However, we believe the funds from the insurance provided are available to rebuild the ice rink and a soft play area which could be run alongside it as it has done previously. We are asking the Islington Council to give options and a fair and considered chance and the opportunity to run under improved management. So, do you, Mr. Mayor, Islington Council, wish to leave behind a legacy which can be used generations of all ages for the next 50 years? Michael Sobell gave us this...
Again, can I ask you to wind up because you've gone over time?
Sorry.
Please, just put one more sentence.
Sorry. Michael Sobell gave us a sports facility for our community, and his granddaughter wants it to remain a sports community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maggie, for that. You will receive a written response after the meeting, but thank you for that. Okay. The next question is from Phil Edwards to Councillor Turan, Executive Member for Health and Social Care. Is Phil here?
I'm representative, sir.
Hi, Phil. Can you come forward, please? Councillor Turan, will you respond to Phil's question? You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I would like to thank Phil for his question. GLL's leisure contract with Lambeth had a natural expiry date of April 2023. It had been in place for 16 years. It was extended twice for an additional 6 years. After that, Lambeth opted to bring the services in-house at that time, which reflected the direction of travel that the council had taken with other previously outsourced services, and that their contract with GLL was not providing best value. Alternatively, Islington Council's contract with GLL is one of the best in the country and brings in more important revenue for the council. The ice rink at the Sobell was fully available for bookings. However, there hadn't been a demand for many daytime bookings. The ice was marketed to the community alongside all other Sobell activities and included in marketing materials. As part of the consultation, we have reviewed the operations of other rinks by specialist ice providers. Those learnings and findings will be factored into the decision-making process over the future of the Sobell and whether there are different ways to operate the rink that might address the significant financial issues that have been set out regarding the future of the ice rink. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Turan. Phil, would you like to ask a supplementary question?
Yes, sir. Sorry, my name isn't Phil. I'm representing Phil.
Sorry, I've got Phil down here. So what's your name, sir?
It's Steve Jones. So I'm just
Hi, Steve. Sorry, apologies for getting your name wrong. I've got Phil down here. Welcome, Steve. You've got 2 minutes to ask a supplementary question. Go ahead, sir.
I would actually like to point out, as an ice rink user since the age of 11, and I'm now 61, including the Michael Sobell Sports Centre ice rink, that actually GLL weren't running the rink. The rink was running itself. And I can honestly say that any ice rink worth its salt works from 5 a.m. in the morning through to 1 or 2 a.m. the following morning. And the reason it does it is because the plant is actually working to keep the ice solid. All the time the plant's working, that ice needs to be used. Now, there is a period in the middle there that just is not socially acceptable to anybody, which is between 1, 2, 3 in the morning and 4 in the morning. However, that ice rink at the Michael Sobell Sports Centre was not used like that. I used that ice rink. They let that ice rink run itself. I'm sorry, and I will also bring to a fact now that GLL at Streatham was exactly the same, which is why Lambeth Council got rid of it. And Lambeth Council have had to invest multi-thousands of pounds of money to actually put right what GLL, which we know as better, left behind. They ran that rink exactly the same, and it was shutting and closing too early. It was shutting at 10 o'clock at night. Sobell Ice Rink, when I was 12 years old, used to run public sessions that were absolutely full. Yes, it brought people from the community into that ice rink, and some of those people weren't the nicest people in the world. But you know what? They found sport. Sport is a direction. And I'm afraid a Ninja Park can work alongside that direction, but sport brings people in 3-4 times a week. 2 o'clock in the morning we used to play ice hockey there. 2 o'clock in the morning we used to play ice hockey at Streatham. GLL let that go. Please, don't let Michael Sobell's initial £1 million, that's worth £36 million now if he did it today, don't let that go to waste. Please.
Councillor Turan, could you respond, please? You have 2 minutes. Could you have to respond to the supplementary question? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Steve. And Steve, you look really well for 61, to be honest. I'd like to know what you do. I'm sure that's for the sports. But thank you very much for that supplementary, question as well. Obviously, we are looking at it. So we've had a consultation. We've had responses. We are looking at all the information that we've gathered from people. We've been very open about it. So it will take a bit of time, basically, looking at everything that we've gathered. But, the main question here, and the reason that we are minded not to reinstate the ice rink, is because the Tory government cutting 70% of the original budget that we had from 2010. So we are having to work with 30% of that budget, basically, of what we had to provide services. So it all comes down to finances sometimes. But we are going to do our best to protect all the sports, as many sports as possible, and still keeping an open mind. So a report is being prepared, and we will look at that very soon. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm afraid you can't, Steve. That's the end of this. But what you can do is that I was just going to thank Councillor Turan for his answer. Can you please continue the debate with Councillor Turan and the council outside of the meeting, Steve? Honestly, but thank you so much for coming and raising the issue. Thank you very much. So while I'm actually speaking, I've got to announce that we've actually run out of time now for the 30 minutes allocated for questions from members of the public. So that takes us on to question C from Councillor Hammerdash to Councillor Turan, Executive Member for Health and Social Care. Councillor Turan, will you please respond to Councillor Hammerdash's question? You have 3 minutes.
Thank you for your question, Councillor Hammerdash. We know how important the Sobell Leisure Centre is to local people across the borough, and how devastating last year's flood and the resulting closure of the ground floor has been. It's really important that we ensure that the rebuilt centre provides a space that the local people of all ages and all backgrounds can enjoy. Like councils up and down the country, Islington Council is facing huge financial challenges due to the cost of living crisis, the huge rise in energy prices, and I think it's 13 years now of austerity. That means that, like other councils, we are having to make difficult decisions. While it's been a much-loved facility for many residents over the years, the number of visitors to the Sobell Leisure Centre, Ice Rink, were low compared to other facilities at the site. And the proposals that we have put forward will help attract more visitors to the site. Furthermore, the opening of larger facilities, such as the new double Olympic-sized rink at Lee Valley, and I think that's like 6 times the size of what we had in Sobell, and the rink at Alexandra Palace would have led to further fall in numbers. Throughout the consultation exercise, we've been clear that we are listening to local people, while also stating the challenges that reinstating the ice rink would pose. Regarding alternative operators for the ice rink, the Council has met with 2 external commercial operators and the Sobell Ice Skating Club, and those discussions have given all parties a better understanding of some of the issues. It also visited an ice rink of similar size to gather more information about its programming, maintenance and operations. There is no outcome from this yet. The information and insight that officers have gained from these meetings will be used to help inform the final decision on the future of the Sobell Leisure Centre in the coming weeks. Thank you again for your question.
Thank you, Councillor Turan. Councillor Hammerdash, would you like to ask a supplementary? You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. So I do understand that we're under financial pressures, but I think there's a timeline to be thought through. It strikes me that the reopening of any ice rink wouldn't happen until maybe the next general election. And there's some baked-in pessimism here about the finances of this council that I thought this council might be a bit more optimistic about with the incoming potential Labour government. So I wonder whether the thinking on the council and from the Labour group is that things aren't going to get better under Keir Starmer, because once this rink is closed, it's closed forever. So I would ask, do you think local government finances aren't going to improve under Labour? And is this why the long-term pessimism for the ice rink is baked in?
Thank you. Paul, please. No, hang on, what's going on?
Council.
Can we sit down? Can you sit down? Everyone sit down. Cool down a bit, okay? Let me just say, right, okay. So, Councillor Turan has responded. So, Councillor Hammerdash, where am I? I lost it. Yeah. Would you like to ask a supplementary question? You've asked that.
I did.
Councillor Turan, would you respond? Sorry, Kaya, what is it?
I think your microphone is on.
Oh, sorry.
Point of order, Mayor. I request that, given Councillor Hamitish asked the financial question, that the executive member for finance answers it.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. Yes, sorry I missed that. Councillor Ward.
Thank you very much for your supplementary question, Councillor Hamdish. This council has lost 70% of its core government funding over the past 10 years. We're working on 30% of what we had before. We're trying, we're doing our best. We got a budget through, and in that budget we protected frontline services. We're very, very proud of that. We're doing our very best to protect sport at the Sobell Leisure Centre, but we have to make hard choices. Amongst all of those hard choices, it is really, really disappointing that the Green Party voted against our budget, which protected all of those frontline services, our new build programme, our capital programme, our livable neighbourhoods programme. If you want to help us to make sure that we can deliver frontline services in this borough, please work with us, not against us. Thank you.